Welcome to Meet the Experts with Howie Carr, a new podcast featuring long-form interviews with guests who have a specialized field of expertise. Dr. Ahmad Nooristani is a physician, hospitalist, healthcare entrepreneur, and even a TV host. But you may best know him as the CEO of Balance7. If you've listened to the Howie Carr Show over the past few years, you know that Howie is a big believer in the efficacy of Balance7. So much so that he wanted you to hear the science behind the daily supplement he says has made a big difference in his health, and how it may make a difference in yours as well. Join Howie and Dr. Nooristani as they explore the root causes of everyday illnesses and ailments, and how Balance7 is engineered to address the cause rather than the symptoms. And be sure to listen for a special offer for Balance7 just for listeners of this podcast. Here's your host of Meet the Experts, Howie Carr.
Welcome to our latest episode of Meet the Experts. And our guest this week is Dr. Ahmad Nooristani, and he is the CEO of Balance7, which has been one of our advertisers for a long time. Dr. Nooristani has had an esteemed medical career. He's been a physician at hospitals, chairman of a department of medicine, and he's been a medical director. Right now, as the CEO of Balance7, he blends his medical knowledge and entrepreneurship. He even hosts his own TV show, Health Check with Dr. Nooristani, which has been instrumental in disseminating health knowledge to a global audience, promoting a healthier and more informed society. Welcome to the show, Dr. Nooristani.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to inform your audience about the importance of Balance7 and how we could transform their lives.
I began taking Balance7. Your company became an advertiser. They sent us a sample. I always check the products to sample them so that I could talk about them. I was quite impressed with how good it made me feel. I've talked about this in the ads as well, that you guys stopped advertising for a while, and I continued buying the product because it made me feel so good. And I'm sincere when I say that. And sometimes I run out, and whenever I don't have the Balance7 that I'm used to, my joints feel a little stiffer. After a couple of days, I have more acidic feelings in my stomach. I just don't feel quite as good as when I'm taking Balance7 on a daily basis. I'm just a little off. I think I'm probably typical of most people who consume Balance7, am I not?
You're absolutely right. That includes myself. I've been taking this now almost for 5 years, and if I don't take it for literally 2 days, 3 days, and for me it's not more of a joint pain, but it's just mental clarity. I lose that focus. I mean, I have 16 to 18 hour long shifts, and I need to be focused because I'm doing critical care and ICU, and I have one of the sickest patients. So for me, mental clarity and staying sharp is so crucial and critical. So without this, towards the end of the day, I'm just lagging. I have no energy. So I completely understand what you're saying.
What's the core idea behind Balance7? What is the scientific basis of Balance7?
Well, it goes back to the root cause of problem, right? And I think with medicine, what we have forgotten, that we're not solving the problem. What I mean is, if you have high blood pressure, I'm giving you medication to fix your high blood pressure. But I don't deal with the core problem of why do you have blood pressure. And
right.
That goes on for every single disease in existence that we have medication for. We solve the symptoms, not the problem. So now Balance7 acts as a holistic way of bringing your body to a natural state where it is going to take care of itself. So that's the whole concept of Balance7, allowing your body to do what it was meant to do to keep you as healthy as possible. Because 90% of these disease, all disease that happen, is happening because we decided to have those disease through our action. What we eat, what we put in. Do we take care of ourselves? Do we exercise? Do we limit our intake of food that are causing damage, right? So all of that causes root cause problem, and Balance7 is there to really push you through that so you could become healthier and not have those diseases to begin with.
We're speaking today on Meet the Experts to Dr. Ahmad Nooristani. He's the CEO of Balance7. And if you would like to check it out after listening to the podcast today, go to balance7.com, the number 7, balance7.com, and use code HowiePodcast to get 20% off any order of $50 or more. One of the parts of Balance7 that's always mentioned is pH balance. Tell the listeners what pH balance means and why it's so important.
So in our body, in everything in the universe, we have to have something to measure it by so we can understand it, right? If it's a distance, we measure it by metrics, which is centimeter, meter, whatever. So we have an understanding and how to put it together, how to understand it, right? And now pH is one of those concepts that's used in every living tissue. Every living cell lives in a specific pH.
What does pH mean? What does that stand for, those initials?
It's a power of hydrogen. So basically you have hydrogen, a lot of people understand that, the H, and you have hydroxide, right, on the other side, the alkaline. So basically it's just this acidity. So for your audience, the simplest way is I have too much acid in my body, I have too much alkaline in my body. Now, too much acid in your body means one thing: you're not eating right. Literally. Say, for example, take your Diet Coke, for example, or Coca-Cola, or Pepsi. And one bottle of that makes a huge difference because that produces so much acid. Now your body has to do everything to neutralize that acid. And within our body, we have a scale of pH, which basically measures the acidity or alkalinity. And we live, and we should live in an extremely balanced environment within our body, and that's a balanced pH. Normally, our body lean more toward alkaline. That's where every single body part function optimally. So Balance7 brings that pH toward alkalinity as opposed to being more toward acidity, which causes all the havoc in the body. Anything above 7 is neutral, but people tell me 7 is perfect then. No, Balance7 brings you somewhere above 7.4, which is the optimal condition for your body to function optimally.
So how can Balance7 benefit me or you or anybody who's taking it on a daily basis?
So here's what Balance7, a lot of my patients, I have hundreds of patients that are taking this supplement, and they ask me one question: how do I change that? How does Balance7 affect me? And I tell everybody, Balance7 literally doesn't do anything for you. And let me explain that. So what it does, it allows your body to produce more of what you need. And the way it works is that because it is an extreme alkaline, means like the pH is extremely high. When you take that, it goes to your stomach, which is an extremely acidic environment. Your body, now it dilutes that acid. And now your body says, I want to bring this acid inside your stomach back to normal. I want it to be so acidic because it needs digestion, it needs to break down protein, etc., all the food that we eat, right? That needs a lot of acid, but only within your stomach. So in such, it produces more acid in your stomach, but your body also produces a lot of bicarb or alkaline. And that bicarb and that alkalinity goes to your system and gets absorbed and causes that significant amount of change that brings your pH back to balance.
What are the ingredients in Balance7? People are very interested now, more interested than ever before in what they're taking, even though they're eating and drinking worse stuff than ever before. They also want to know what they're taking to counteract the poisons they're putting into their body. What's in Balance7?
It has just made simply of 3 inorganic FDA-approved food ingredient products combined in a specific process with hydrogenated water to give you that high pH to drink and yet to be safe. So it's natural ingredients. We don't do any added. There's no caffeine. There's no sugar. There's none of that, any other added ingredient.
How often should someone take it?
So normally we suggest to everybody that take it 3 ounces a day, basically 1 ounce 3 times a day, nothing to eat or drink for 30 minutes before or after. Normally the best time to take it is right before you sleep. You're done with brushing your teeth, you're ready to go to sleep. when you wake up in the morning before you go to shower, and then also in the middle of the day after your lunch, maybe 30 minutes. So it's just spacing it out perfectly.
Why do you see a difference in 3 days?
So, 3 days is an average, right? Because everybody is different, and depending how aesthetic your body is or, how healthy you are, etc. So there's a lot of factors that goes into that number of days, right? Some people feel the effect in a day. Some people takes about 7 days. But the average from our experience in the past few years has been 3 days. And 3 days is that magical number saying, okay, you know what? I can feel a difference. Now, I had some patients that were extremely healthy. They eat properly, and they see the change a little later because their body's already in optimal condition, and it just helps them to maintain that, right? But in general, within that 3 to 7 days period, you should feel a difference.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Nooristani, because I was thinking about this as you were talking, that I don't mean to be judgmental here, but the worse your diet is, the more you need Balance7, and the more it's going to make you feel better. If you're eating totally healthy food and, you're not eating very much meat at all, you're keeping a healthy diet, Balance7 is not going to help you as much as if you like to eat meat lovers pizza a couple of times a week.
Let me be judgmental. I'm a physician. I'm going to be extremely judgmental. And the reason being is that I'm seeing it firsthand, right? I have now 30 years old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old people that comes in with heart attack and strokes. And now I didn't used to see it way at the beginning when I started 15 years ago or 16 years ago practicing that. That age bracket has significantly lowered. So that means that a lot of younger people are getting sick. So what do you attribute all that to? It's just bad diet and healthy diet. So yes, I want to be judgmental because being judgmental in this sense means saving life, right? If you're not eating healthy, and if you're going to eat junk day in, day out, of course you're going to have all those things, right? Because we know that majority of today's disease is related to acidity, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, cancers, all are related to an acidic environment within your body. So when you're eating junk and unhealthy, you are inviting those diseases. There's no question about it. You're going to get one or several of those diseases that I just mentioned.
This is a way to neutralize it. I like to eat pastrami. I feel better about eating pastrami when I'm drinking a little Balance7. My stomach feels less acidic, and I feel like I'm hurting my body less. That's just me. But whatever your poison is, as they say at the bar, Balance7 will help it out, I think. We're speaking to Dr. Ahmad Nooristani. He's the CEO of Balance7. That's what we're talking about here today on Meet the Experts. And if you'd like to order Balance7, you can go to the website Balance7.com. That's the number 7, and use code Howie Podcast to get 20% off any order of $50 or more. This is a great deal. Howie Podcast to get 20% off any order of $50 or more. How does it help your immunity?
So, that's a big topic, right? Because given the recent event of COVID and all the viruses, all these new multi-drug resistant infections, etc., your immunity is paramount. Now, you need to be in optimal condition. Otherwise, you're going to be getting sick left and right. Just giving the amount of exposure, not just locally, internationally. The world has changed. Whatever disease you had doesn't stay local anymore. It traveled the whole planet. So your immune system is forefront at the war, right? It is what prevents your body from breaking down. It's what helps you maintain optimum health, not get sick often, right? From common colds, to COVID, etc. So the immune system function at the highest, at the peak, when it is balanced pH. And that balanced pH for immunity is an alkaline environment. That means those cells that have capacity to kill viruses and bacteria, those are the ones that are ready to fight. They function optimally at an alkaline environment or an alkaline level. So if your immune system is down because of too much acid, then its ability to fight common diseases also in the lowest point. So Balance7 bringing back your immune system back to where it's supposed to be will help you to remain healthy. and not be experiencing some of the disease that attack you when your immune system is down.
So again, Balance7 is designed to reduce the acidity in your body. So Dr. Nooristani, explain how acid builds up in your body and why that is so bad for your health.
Once again, it's so odd because about 6 years ago, I didn't know enough about pH balance. Being a physician, even then, I did not have enough information to make really a judgment call. We know how the disease comes about and why you have a heart attack, but the root cause was really eluded me as a person, as a physician, as a person who would like to know more and solve problems. So to me, it was a leap of faith, kind of transitioning from purely focused on medicine to alternative and combining the two. So it opened my eyes to a lot of things, to learn about how body works and what affects it. And so the pH concept was one of those just eye-opening for me. So the acid buildup doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, your body has a lot of residual and fighting capacity that optimal. It takes years. But as we grow older, now in your late 20s and 30s and 40s, so your body's capacity to fight is diminished more and more and more because of all the acidity that's built up. So it's a buildup that's going to take time for your body to just get rid of. That's why I tell people, when you're taking Balance7, this is not a magic bullet that you're going to take and everything is going to be fixed. No, I mean, it's just going to come in with your lifestyle modification, diet modification, being active, all of that becomes part of Balance7, and it brings you, when you take it 3 times a day, it's a constant awareness. I'm taking this to become healthy. That means it reinforces you not to eat bad food, since you're sharp and have a lot of energy, to go exercise, to be more mindful. So in general, it helps you to just stay away from that because you're taking something every day, 3 times a day. It's a constant reminder. And that's what I love about it. It is just so easy to be forgetful, right? Forget about food and all that stuff, the bad stuff. If you have somebody constantly reminding you, hey, don't eat that. And that Balance7 is that constant reminder. It's also a testament to its taste. It has a very peculiar taste.
It does. I wasn't going to mention that, Doctor.
No, I want you to mention it because it's important. And I tell you why it's important. Because it gauges where you stand. This is the only supplement in the world, probably, that doesn't taste good. And there's a reason for it because we didn't want to change the taste. There's a specific reason, because it's a constant reminder. Now, we go out and eat steak and have a couple glasses of wine and have some caffeine and come back and try this at home and see what kind of taste you have. I mean, the taste is not going to be good, I guarantee you, because you have introduced so much acid in your body, and as soon as you drink this, it tells you. People have spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get a CAT scan and MRIs and do blood work so they could know where they stand, right? Where's your cholesterol? Well, here's a supplement that tells you, hey, listen, you're not healthy. Oh, you're getting worse. All you have to do is drink and find out. And that changes over time, and obviously your body gets used to it. You're not going to feel it. That is the beauty of this product, is that it's a constant reminder where your health is, so it's going to hold you accountable.
How does it help with inflammation?
When you have a lot of inflammation in your body, that causes a significant amount of discomfort. Let's say if it's your joint, you're going to have joint pain. If, like rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, or if you have it in your heart, causes heart attack. But throughout your body, anytime you have inflammation, it causes havoc. Your joints are obviously no different. It's inflamed, it's going to be swelled up, and you're going to have a lot of pain. All of that inflammation is related to acidity buildup through time. So it goes back to that concept about acidity. And I told you at the beginning when we talked about it that the root cause of all these modern diseases is acidity, right? Because it stops your body from functioning properly. So the joint discomfort will go away, once again, within 3 to 5 days, because that inflammation is significantly reduced when you're taking Balance7 on a constant basis.
We're talking about Balance7. It's a great supplement. I take it 3 times a day. So does Dr. Nooristani. You can get 20% off any order of $50 or more. Go to balance7.com, the number 7, balance7.com, and use code Howie Podcast. Now, Dr. Nooristani, you say you feel more energy and more mentally clear when you take it. I do too, to a degree, but you mentioned that specifically first. Tell us about what Balance7 does for your mental state.
I mean, I'm sharp. I think after 15 hours of work, I don't care who you are, you're going to feel that mental fatigue, right? Because especially I'm not talking about physical work, mental work, where you're sitting in behind a computer, where you're a CPA, where you're a lawyer, doctor, doesn't matter. When you are expending so much mental energy that you're going to get fatigued. The concept is the same. Why you get fatigued? If you're a runner, you get fatigued because you build up lactic acid, right? You feel the pain, and it's going to limit you from running. And it's a way your body is designed to let you know that, hey, pull back. Don't overdo it because you're going to hurt yourself permanently. So now the rest of the body follow the same concept. When you are exhausted and the production of lactic acid goes up and it decreases your mental clarity because of, once again, the acid buildup, right? We know now some of the recent studies that are linking Alzheimer's disease and dementia to that process, and that change that happens within the brain cells are also related to pH. So how do you control that? And the more control you have over that, the more you have energy and the more mental clarity exists.
Sometimes when I sneeze, I take Balance7, and it seems to stop the sneezing fairly quickly. Is there any medical reason for that or physical reason?
To the sneezing itself, I do not know, but I know a lot of people, you have the chronic cough, the lingering, nagging cough and the sneezing that happens. That happens because too much acid in your stomach that comes up that innervates one of these nerves. The nerve becomes irritated, and that irritation causes you to cough, have the dry nagging cough that gets sometimes worse at nighttime, especially when you're laying down. So that definitely, when you're bringing that back to the balance, making your pH be more neutral, more toward alkaline, that definitely helps out to stop that. And also these are FM allergies, right? Allergies, the environmental allergies, for example, and that goes back to the concept of your immunity. So your immune is boosted, and that stops you from having all these smaller symptoms as well.
How does it help with digestion and heartburn? And I really noticed that it helps with heartburn.
So this is my first experience with Balance7 that I had when I started taking Balance7, before I even became part of it and became literally a believer because of this reason, because I had acid reflux and I've been taking Prilosec, Zantac, Tums, you name it, and some of the main big guns prescription that now we know has millions of side effects. But I took that for years because I had such a heartburn when I eat, especially if I eat anything that's acidic. Once again, if I drink coffee, if I did meat or anything like pasta, etc., I just had such a spicy food, bad digestion. I mean, my burning sensation was just driving me crazy. I started taking Balance7, and I haven't taken a single pill for the past 5 years. And so does a lot of my patients who are taking it, not taking a single pill for heartburn. So what it does, the concept is, once again, the same thing, right? It dilutes the acidic environment temporarily in your body, but now your body producing so much more acid within your stomach. And what it does is it causes a stimulation of the sphincter to close up, so the acid doesn't come back up. And that is the reason you're not feeling the acidity. And because it allows your body to produce more acid within your stomach, that means things get digested more faster and it gets break down more faster. So that's why you don't feel the sensation of bloating goes away, the sensation of fullness goes away, and you don't have the burning sensation that brings things up.
Dr. Nooristani, as I said, I was not a great believer in Balance7. I was just testing it out because you guys were sponsors, and I really am a believer now. It makes me feel better. It's not like a super miracle cure that's going to make you feel better 10 minutes after you take it. But if you take it steadily, you just feel better. The proof is when you stop taking it, when you run out, and suddenly you don't have it for 3 or 4 days, and you're not quite what you were physically or mentally. And that's the best endorsement I can give.
You know what? You have nothing to lose, right? There's a money back guarantee. So go ahead and try. That's all you can do, right? Put some effort on taking care of yourself and bringing back your body where it's supposed to be. And at the same time, there's hundreds of testimonials that you could look on patients that with all these different diseases that's available online. And these are true patients. You can listen, your audience could listen to some of those, and these are amazing stories about how it affects your body.
Dr. Ahmad Nooristani from Balance7. He's the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. We appreciate you being with us. And if you're interested and you'd like to try it again, there's a money-back guarantee, as Dr. Nooristani said. Just go to balance7.com. If you've been procrastinating, don't procrastinate anymore, because there's 20% off right now if you just use Howie Podcast, one word, Howie Podcast, to get 20% off any order of $50 or more. It's a great product, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Dr. Nooristani, thanks so much for being with us here on Meet the Experts today.
Howie, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Meet the Experts with Howie Carr. We'll be back soon with even more interesting guests you're sure to learn a great deal from.